Okay, hello everyone. This is Corey, and this is the start of our iBT TOEFL course, which will correspond with the Thompson book, which you see here, The Complete Guide to the TOEFL Test, iBT edition by Bruce Rogers. In our first 2-hour lesson today, we are going to cover 2 of the 4 iBT TOEFL skills, and we will be starting with speaking and then writing. And these first few lessons will be very introductory in nature. I'm going to get you all set up. Now, some of you may have some past TOEFL experience. Perhaps you've even taken the iBT once or twice. And some of you are coming into this with fresh eyes. You've maybe never even seen the test. So I'm going to try to speak to all of you. And if you have some experience, it's okay, because we all need a review from time to time. And we'll be referring to the pages in the book as I guide you through and give you my best strategies and the things that have worked in the past with many of my students. If you've had a chance to check out my demo, you know that I have a lot of experience with iBT TOEFL students here in California, and these are students from many backgrounds and countries and with many different goals, including both those who wish to have a professional license as well as those students who wish to go to graduate school or to the university. Okay, so we're going to begin this first hour by looking at some independent speaking. So in your Thompson book, I need you to begin on page 400. This is where the speaking begins. And I will be putting information down in the chat section as we go, so that you can follow along, just in case you don't hear the page numbers. As you see on page 400, there's a bit of an overview about your speaking test in general. This is a new part of the TOEFL. I know it's very scary for students to know that there will be people listening to your speaking and then giving you a score each time you speak. But with some practice and going through this 4-week course and getting lots of independent practice, as well as getting feedback from me, if you signed up for the gold or platinum package, I think we can get you ready to succeed on the speaking section. So let's look at the chart on page 400. You see that there are 6 tasks altogether, 6 questions on the iBT speaking section. The first 2 are called independent, and that means that you just rely on yourself. These are based on your own opinions, your own life experience, and for each of these you will have 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds in which to speak. Now, questions 3 through 6 are called integrated. We will get some practice on those in future lessons. They are called integrated because you have to integrate more than just one language skill. You're not just speaking about your personal opinion. You will have to listen and also sometimes read, take notes, and then summarize some of the things that you've heard and read during that speaking task. But we will be starting with the independent speaking. Now, I cannot stop the recording during this 2-hour lesson. However, you have a lot of flexibility. You can pause the lesson at any time. You can stop. You can basically rewind and play something if it wasn't clear. I am going to be modeling a lot of my speaking responses and my strategies, but there will be times when I'll ask you to stop the recording and try this on your own. And the first thing I need to show you is how to record your own speaking responses so that you can listen to them later, assess yourselves, and also, those of you on the gold and platinum plan, you're going to be sending me up to 4 speaking files per week along with one of your essays for the TOEFL. So you need to know how to record your speaking files. So let's turn ahead to page 402. And you see that if you have a PC, and I know Macintosh will be a little different, you'll have to follow your own system, but everyone who has a PC system, you will probably have this program called Sound Recorder. And on page 402, they give you the steps to follow. You need to go to the Start menu, which should be on the lower left of your screen, and then you're going to click on Accessories, then Entertainment, and finally you're going to select the Sound Recorder, and it shows up as a rectangular box on your screen, and it has all the traditional buttons that an old-fashioned tape recorder would have. So you can record your 45 seconds or 60 seconds of speaking. You can play it back to yourself, and you can also save the file. Now, when you save these files, I recommend you save them with your name plus a number. So my speaking file, the first one I do today might be Corey 930-01, because today is September 30th, and this is my first speaking file that I intend to send. Okay, so I would like you to do the same. So all of your speaking files have your name or your nickname, just a few letters, and then a number, and then it'll be easy for me to identify them and refer to them when I give you comments and give you a score and send them back to you. Okay, so if you understand how to record your own speech, that's great. Why don't we move ahead now, specifically to the independent speaking, which we're going to look at today. And I'd like you to turn to page 405 in the Thompson book. And this gives you a little bit of a better description of both of the independent speaking tasks. The first one, this book calls the personal preference task, and the second one is called the paired choice, because they only give you two choices and you must select one or the other. Do you prefer cats or dogs as pets, for example? Okay, so let's look at the chart. You see that task 1, personal preference, this involves a single question, and you have to express your personal choice. The example in the book, describe the most important day in your life and explain why it was important to you. Include details and examples to support your explanation. So on the real test, there would be a clock on your screen, and they will give you 15 seconds to prepare. Also, when you take the iBT, they'll give you just sheets of blank paper and a pencil, and you can jot down as many ideas as you like. I would recommend that you just take a few brief notes, because if you're in the middle of speaking, you can't really read a full sentence. So if they ask me, for example, what is my favorite holiday? I might say Thanksgiving. Okay, American Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to write Thanksgiving. Number 1, family. Number 2, food. That's all I will write on my note paper, so that when I glance at my paper and notice what I have, I'm ready to make a transition, for example, from family to food. And I'll show you what that sounds like in a little bit. So you can see from the chart on 405, both question 1 and question 2, you have 15 seconds of preparation time and then 45 seconds of speaking time. Okay, and we will be going over question 1 today, and then later this week we'll be going over question 2. And if you are on the gold plan or the platinum plan, you could send me 2 of each. 2 samples of question 1 that we'll look at in this Thompson book, and 2 samples of question 2. And I will give you feedback, corrections, and an approximate score on all 4 of those files by the end of the week. Okay, let's look at question 2 and see how it differs from question 1. In question 2, the time frames are all the same, except, as I mentioned earlier, it's paired choice. So an example of that, some people prefer to work for a company and receive a salary. Other people prefer to own their own business. Which of these do you prefer and why? Include details and examples in your explanation. So you would choose one of the 2. Again, you would probably jot down no more than 2 ideas. If this were an essay, you might have more, but in 45 seconds, to be honest, you really don't have much time. So you're going to hear that in a little bit when I give my sample for the first one. Okay, let's turn over to page 407, and we're going to look at the scoring guide for the first time. And by the way, as we go through the textbook, this book has over 800 pages. It's very comprehensive, and in this 4-week intensive course, we will not have time to go over every page, every exercise together. So I recommend that in between the pages that we do go over, that you mark those pages and you come back to them during your homework time, because I feel this book is very well written, and it has some really excellent material for you to use. So there are going to be many things which I'll ask you to go over specifically as homework, but also the pages of description by Bruce Rogers. I would strongly recommend you go over those as well. Okay, let's look at the scoring scale.